All right, for the second part of segment 1. First we covered wizards, now we're going to cover Time Lords, the other type of magic user in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Transdimensional Adventures. We had thoughts about the first one. Some good, some meh. Maybe even, do we want to say bad? You dog?
Yeah, I'll go with bad.
Okay, so he'll go with bad. All right. So I cannot talk. You know, I'm starting this segment over.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
I can't talk. Like, I do not know why I am losing my vocabulary. Am I having a stroke, like a short-term stroke over the last, 2 years? All right, for the second part of segment 1, we are going to dive into Time Lord magic. We covered wizard magic in the first video. Check that out. Now we're going to look at what makes a wizard and a Time Lord different. Time Lord sounds pretty cool. It sounds like it could even be a TV show somewhere. And I'm sure it was not inspired by that in any way, shape, or form at all. Nope. And there's a video that popped this morning, well, as I'm streaming this, maybe yesterday or a couple days ago on our channel, where I actually created a Time Lord. So maybe you can check that out and see a few more features of an actual Time Lord character. But for this one, we're going to dive into what they can and cannot do starting now. And I didn't share the book. That's not sharing the book. And I forgot where to share it. Oh, there it is right there. I think. Is this the book? People. Is this the book? That is the book. Man, every browser I use, why can't a browser just work? Oh no, Google Chrome works, but then it's unsecure. All right, so 57, I think it was. Nope. There we go. Time Lord magic. What is going to differentiate this one from the wizard? By the way, the wizard, just real quickly, the wizard is like you could have been an apprentice to a pharaoh. That's how you get those things. This one you get, well, I'll tell you how I got it with the character that I rolled up. I rolled up a saber-tooth tiger. I wanted a dinosaur, but I got a saber-tooth tiger. You can't cry about that. And what was his background, or her background? Oh, you're a Time Lord apprentice. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you automatically have Time Lord magic. No, you got to pay 25 BioE points for that. But you said it was 30. It's 30 for the wizard. It's 25 for the Time Lord. Why? I don't know. But that's what.
Well, you only get half the spells per day. For one.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Well,
wizards get 8.
Yeah, but to start, but they end up in the same place.
No, you misunderstand. You can only cast 4 spells per day as a Time Lord in Time Lord, but a wizard can cast 8 spells per day.
And the wizard gains 2 at 4, 7, 10, 13. The Time Lord gains 3 at 4, 7, 10, 13.
Yeah, at max level, they end up meeting.
Yeah,
they end up meeting up, but throughout the entire game, the wizard is better.
Fair. Well, I don't know. When you see these spells, no, I could actually see people go, no Time Lords in my game. All right. Player characters start out as apprentice Time Lords with the following spellcasting abilities. Temporal Energy Preservation. Not going to dive into that here. We actually, Heathen Dog and I talked about that when we talked about the original Transdimensional TMNT. Those rules really haven't changed. And if they did, they were so subtle, it didn't matter. About temporal energy. If you go backward and forward in times, weird things happen to you and or the items. Time traveling is dangerous. It's not something you just want to, you know what, I'm going to go live in Jurassic Park, the real one. Because you'll probably come out as some sort of Neanderthal. Caveman beating people and taking their skulls. And maybe that's what you want to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
You get time.
If you peaked in high school as the quarterback, then maybe you want to go back to just beating people up for glory and fame. Okay.
Let's say linemen. Quarterbacks actually have to be smart nowadays.
Fair enough. Linemen. There you go.
Linemen, yeah. Anyway, you also get time jump simple. That means you can bounce to a different time with limitations, and we'll probably look at that one. 4 other time spells. And 5 wizard spells, because there aren't enough time spells otherwise. And we'll look at what those are. Again, if you want to see the wizard spells, look at the previous video. The total number of spells they can cast per day is 4 at first level, plus 3 per day at 4, 7, 10, 13. So that's 4 per day. So 1, I'm sorry, 4. So it's basically this number right here. Just reduce it to the previous at, why can I visualize things and not talk? I'm serious. I'm going to go to speech therapy or something soon here because I cannot talk anymore. At level 1, you can cast 4. At level 4, you can cast 7. At level 7, you can cast 10. At level 10, you can cast 13. And at level 13, you can cast 16 spells. Unless you're Lord Simultaneous, then you get 17.
Why?
Remember that spells with 2 after them in superscript count as 2 spells, and spells with 3 after them count as 3 spells. So for the 4 time spells, I'm not going to read all that. We'll look. It's easier to look at. Studying time magic. Although basically similar to the wizard's spell magic, Time Lords and their apprentices concentrate their efforts on the study of time, space, and dimension. As with other spell magic, the manipulation of time is accomplished by the use of incantations and the summoning of mystic energies. Like wizards, Time Lords must learn the same powers of concentration, but added to that is the necessity for developing computational powers. Time Lords must constantly be sensitive to the flow of the coils of time and how it relates to the positions of various twists and cycles. And if those words are like, what are you talking about? Those are game mechanic terms. Go watch our coverage of Transdimensional Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I mean, if you've watched Doctor Who, the newer version, where he talks about timey-wimey stuff, that's exactly what twists and cycles are. There is no, like, I want to go to November 7th, 1947. I don't know, man. You're going to have to math that one out, and you may have to spend a couple years, days, weeks, months waiting for that time to happen, because you can't travel to directly any date in the time stream you want to. That's not how time travel works in this game.
Especially with machines. Magic may be different, and we'll get to that later. Now, be very clear. First of all, your game master has to allow magic in the game. Secondly, you have to roll up Time Lord. That is not, or Apprentice Time Lord. That is not an easy thing to do. Sure, can you pick it? Yes. I mean, if your game master is like, hey, one of you guys needs to be an Apprentice Time Lord, sure, do your thing. But it also depends on the campaign. If you only have a campaign that's traveling dimensionally, there's no time traveling involved. Is the Time Lord still useful? In a much diminished capacity, but yes. If there's only time travel, no dimensional, is the Time Lord limited? Not quite as much, but there's a couple limitations. And what if he's like, nope, I don't mind the magic, but not this whole, and I don't even mind the time spells necessarily, but I don't want you bouncing around back and forth in time. Well, you're not going to be happy with this character. So, and it's funny that they don't have an intelligence requirement, because it's only after the ability to calculate time flow. It's only after the ability to calculate time flow becomes an automatic reflex that the apprentice finally learns actual spell casting. Should there be a comma in there somewhere? It's only after the ability to calculate time flow becomes automatic. Oh, and automatic. Oh my God.
Becomes an automatic reflex.
Yeah.
Then comma. Yeah. That the apprentice finally learns actual spell casting. Again, yeah, there's no IQ prerequisite. So that the one person I would not want to have the ability to mess with time is an idiot. I don't want idiots traveling in time.
You know, and it's funny because on the equipment side, you have to have like an IQ of 24 to travel dimensionally and 20 to travel through time. That's a 200 IQ. That's good. We'll get to that at the end. Yeah.
No, we'll get it right now. That's funny.
Okay. No intelligence requirement, but a high LSD one. All right. As with other spell magic, temporal manipulation spells may be cast as often as needed, so long as the character knows how to cast a spell and has not exhausted the limit of spells per day. Along with the time spells, an apprentice Time Lord also learns 5 standard wizard spells. Although any of these spells can be taken, the following are strongly recommended. And I both agree and disagree with this recommendation. It's really going to depend on your campaign, but I understand why. If you go to Dimension without air, you might want to bring a little air with you, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dimensional portal. You might need to get out of an area. So, restoration. This is funny. I think this is a typo. because restoration has nothing to do. It says this is a particularly effective spell when used to correct the damage from TE evolution and de-evolution. And if I remember correctly, I was making the character, it had nothing to do with that. We'll look at it to make sure, unless I misread it or something. Because there's actually a spell called temporal energy protection or something like that that does. This one, I don't remember it doing that, but whatever. All right, we know that part there. Learning more wizard spells. Time Lords must learn additional wizard spells in the same way wizards do. See the wizard section or the previous video for more details. How about learning more time spells? That's got to be easy, right? Unlike wizards, apprentice Time Lords learn all their spells early in their training. However, that is theoretical knowledge. Actual learning the intricacies of casting a new time spell requires tedious and dangerous practice. To attempt to learn a simple new time spell takes a week of study and practice. A complex one requires 1d4 weeks. It's the same rules before.
Yeah.
You know what? They might not watch that video. I should actually do this. I forgot about that. Complex one with the 2 superscript requires 1d4 weeks, while the most difficult with a 3 superscript requires 2d4 weeks. For 8 weeks of uninterrupted preparation, followed by a full 8 hours of uninterrupted spell weaving, constant study, to the exclusion of all else is not necessary. This means you can do things, but you've got to, throughout the day, this is what you've got to be doing. This is your primary tasker. You are allowed to eat, and you are allowed to solve crime in your local area, as long as it's passively. But only one spell can be studied at a time. After study, then a full 8 hours of interrupted spell weaving. Roll on the following table, always in front of the GM.
85.
If successful, the spell is learned. If not, there could be trouble. 85. Failure instantly causes the effects of a time warp spell on the caster and his surroundings. Oh, well, what's time warp spell, you do ask? I heard you ask.
I don't want to know.
I haven't looked at that one, so I don't know. Oh, Lord, that looks bad. I'm already looking at the bottom of it.
One twist. Oh, son of a.
Well, twists are okay. It's when you get to the cycles.
Cycle that's bad. Cycles like what? Decades or centuries, maybe?
Well, no. A twist is 125 years.
God damn it.
A cycle is like an epoch.
Oh,
so
God.
you're now in the Cretaceous.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So go ahead and give me the percentile roll. I want to see how far you went. It's 100. 69. I don't see 100 on here. Oh, was that
2d4 twists into the past?
And okay. I'm not going to that page, but yeah, that's not cool for him.
That's hundreds and hundreds of years in the past.
So how would you free yourself from
that?
I
won't devolve. That's something.
How would you free yourself from that?
Well, if you don't have the time warp spell to get yourself back, every apprentice time lord has the simple time travel, right? So I can probably muddle my way back.
There you go. Other Time Lord abilities. As an apprentice progresses towards the level of mastery of a Time Lord, additional abilities are automatically learned. These powers do not require spell casting and can be performed as often as desired. On top of that, as Time Lords level up, they gain increased bonuses in mystical combat and over the effects of temporal energy itself. With experience, their abilities become more potent, they learn to foretell their foes' actions, and their mind and body become more resistant to the effects of harmful magic, psionic powers, and the rigors of temporal travel itself. And we will see that in the table. So, same thing as the wizard in terms of spell strength. But here, +2 to save versus temporal energy. That is absolutely fantastic. It's not a permanent, you're not going to forever out, you're not going to escape it forever, but having that bonus, and as time goes on, more and more bonus, that means you can spend more and more time in areas outside of your own zone. So you really want to see when Earth was nothing but covered with amoeba and the atmosphere was, what was the atmosphere? I forgot what it was. It was poisonous. That's all I remember. Before it was oxygenated, you can go there as long as you have breathe without air. And you might last a little bit, but compute temporal coils. These are the powers that they get that don't cost spells. Includes the ability to compute and keep track of time twists and cycles so time traveling magic can be performed. Note, that although a wizard may learn a time travel spell without the ability to compute twists and cycles, it's nothing but a dangerous toy. So that means, hey, you could teach a time travel spell to a wizard, which we covered in the previous video. You're a bad person if you do that.
Yeah, he could do it, but it's more like pressing a giant randomizer button.
So at second level, sense temporal energy. The caster can sense the level of TE in people, places, and things, allowing them to evaluate the danger from TE flow and to figure out safe periods of exposure.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with that's the reason I don't like Palladium time travel, because it just gets real weird real fast, and I'm not a big fan. If you go forward in time or back in time too far, your temporal energy is disrupted, and you will slowly, like, for example, if you go back 1,000,000 years in the past, you will slowly devolve.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, up to 500,000 years, it's like 1d4 or 1d6 weeks. It's either weeks or days, but if you do past 500,000 years, or 500 million years, then it's hours.
Yeah. So the farther you go back, the less time you have till you start devolving to a state where you would have more likely existed in that time. And it's not going to be good for you or anyone around you.
Yeah, and if you take like a jet fighter back to, the Stone Age,
yeah,
and that's close, all things considered. That's where humans exist. It's going to fall apart pretty quickly.
Yeah, because it doesn't want to be there. It doesn't really exist yet.
All right. Yeah, I know I just skipped a couple of these, and I'm going to, but it's Time Lordy stuff. This is all the Time Lords get for spells. That's it. But to be fair, they don't need any more. Once again, in case you did not watch The Wizard, Temporal Barrier Cubed has a 3 behind it. So superscript 3 means it costs 3 spell selections, and in terms of the number of spells that he knows. Does not mean that takes up 3 in how many he can cast per day. It just means that's how many he knows.
And I think for the Time Lord, if I did the math right, it was like 13 or 11 or 13 total spell learning slots, something like that.
I thought it was 8. No, 14. No, I just made a character. I should know it was 14. Where are we? Spellcast. Okay, so here we go. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot this one's split up.
Okay,
so
hang on. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11.
Okay, 11.
So you have 11 total spells, 4 time spells, and 5 wizard spells. So you can only have 4 time spells plus temporal energy preservation and time jump simple.
So really 6, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 6. That's 6 time spells and 5 wizard spells. Yep. It's just that these 2 it's like mandatory for you to have.
Yes. You have to know that to be an effective apprentice Time Lord.
Now we're gonna look at my favorite spell, and I apologize if you watched the character creation video, because I talked about it there. But this spell is amazing. What is it called again? Temporal Loop. Temporal Peak is pretty cool too, but it's like 1,000,000 years long to read it. This one is only 1,000 years long.
Awesome.
Temporal Loop. What do you think this does before you start reading it, Heathen Dog?
Okay, well, I'm looking at duration, 1 round per level. I'm thinking that you can loop time for your rounds per level. So you start it up, and if you're first level, after 1 round, time gets rewound to the beginning of when you started the spell.
And what would the benefit of that be?
I have no idea.
Oh, great. All right, he's right. He just described the spell to you. So, but I'm going to read it to you the way it says here. The idea here is for the spellcaster to create a tiny loop in the fabric of time, a temporary channel where the character can experience a bit of time, but then have it all set back to the time of casting. Doesn't matter what happens during the time loop. The caster could spend all his spells, destroy all his equipment, even die. Doesn't matter, because at the end of the spell, everything turns back exactly as it was, as if it never happened. And the spellcaster is the only one who remembers what happened during that short time.
You have your memory. All right, now it's useful. Okay.
Of course.
Before it was just you're putting yourself in a trap, but now it's useful. All right.
Right, right. Of course, because the spell doesn't last very long, it's best to keep it saved until right before a difficult decision. And don't forget that while everything else may return back to as it was, the spellcaster has still used up one spell, this one, to cast it.
Sure.
Don't try to get around that.
No.
Example, let's say the group has come to a door they know is trapped. According to their expert on locks, the knob has been set up so that if it is turned the wrong way, the whole place will explode. So should it be turned clockwise or counterclockwise? There's not enough time to take it all apart. Outside of actually trying it, there doesn't seem anything the group can do. Here's where the temporal loop spell comes in handy. Wait a second, let me try, says the Time Lord, who immediately casts a spell for a 2-round loop. Now, either one of two possible results will take place. Either the Time Lord turns the knob the correct way and opens the door safely. Time then resets itself back to just after the spell was cast. Don't ask me how I know, he says, as he confidently turns the doorknob. I just know these things. Everybody else is like, no! What are you doing? Right? But you know what? He turns it and he goes the right way. Or the Time Lord turns the knob the wrong way and the trap blows up. Good thing it's just a time loop. He thinks to himself as he fades away with a fatal wound. Then time resets itself back to just after the spell was cast. Don't ask me how I know, he says, as he confidently turns the doorknob the other way. I just know these things. It's Rick and Morty, the VAT episode.
Yep. Okay. I get it.
I'm adding in the VAT consequences too. You actually killed a version of you somewhere.
Yeah, unlike in other Magic, there's no big ass consequence. You know, you're not aging a year, you're not, tired for the rest of the day, none of that crap. There you go.
As long as you have the spell. Oops, wrong.
Okay.
Wrong. So there you go. I didn't spend quite as much time on this one as I did the Wizard. I know I skipped a couple of the Sense time streams, but to be fair, if you read the write-up anyway, the write-up for the Time Lord is a little shorter because most of this was already explained in the Wizard. It works the same way. We weren't harping on astral travel. I find that spell to be fun. I don't think I would have allowed it when I was running the game in the 90s. I would have been like, nope, nope, that changes things too much, not going to let you. But now I actually think that spell is kind of fun. Temporal Peak real quickly. And the reason why I didn't read it is because, look, it's like an hour long to read it because of the example. But essentially, it allows you to see what happened in a location. You're a spyglass in a location, a temporal location. But you're literally at that location. So
you can just looking at that location in the future or the past compared to where you are.
So if you want to, as the example said here, if you want to know who stole the cookies, you can
look at the scene of the crime, you rewind time in your vision until the cookies are stolen. It's like, oh, it was Derek, that son of a bitch.
Now it's just like the one we looked at, the time loop. It's very short duration. It's only 2 rounds per spellcaster level, but you can cast it multiple times and narrow in. So, all right, that's I don't know if you got any comments up there.
Yeah, temporal magic is super strong. It seems like just the couple of spells we looked at seems like it could really unbalance a game if the game master isn't ready for it. And plus, again, we didn't explain the whole twists and cycles thing and
that's
how
in a previous
much of
video.
A damn mess it is. You basically need three abacuses and a calculator to figure out exactly how to get to where you want to get to.
Yep.
There's a lot of math.
That's intentional. That's a feature, not a bug.
That is a feature, not a bug. Because if time travel was easy, everyone would do it.
Yep.
There it is. So yes, I mean, if you want to cast a simple time jump, well, I want to go 3 cycles up, 2 twists down, and still I have to wait 2 weeks to get to the target time. So you may have to exist in a time period for up to a year or 2. Sometimes less, a lot of times less, sometimes more, before you get to the date you want it. So yeah, I mean, it is not instantaneous, Back to the Future, plug in a date and time and just go there. That's not it. That's not how this works.
Now let's be clear though. This isn't add-on book, right? I'm not saying that it's not meant to be part of TMNT. I'm just saying that this is something you can choose to use or not use.
Yep.
Just like, and to be fair, any old gamer knows that that's true of like every game ever, right? But specifically, this is a companion book. And if you don't want to deal with time travel, if you don't want to deal with magic, then don't. The funny thing is, for me, with the exception of magic being, shh, you're really not hearing the words, I still like it better than psionics. But they kind of work the same way, though. In Turtles, they really work the same way. You buy them with Bio-E points, you do your action, and you have a result. So maybe I should compare it more to like cleric magic and wizard magic in D&D, where psionics do more mental brain foogling, while magic does more
It's physical, real world foogling.
Yeah. So, all right, what do we have
Okay.
for comments? No comments?
Oh well, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't star any, but we can look at this one. Mikkel Risk. Can you use the time spells to cause an item to go back in time? Like you found moldy pizza and you just cast your time magic and now you have fresh pizza pie.
I don't know if
Is there a way to either add or take away time from an item to make it younger or older?
Yeah, hold on. Let me look at the temporal energy spell real quickly here. I don't know.
Temporal energy does things like that.
Yeah. So let me look at this real quickly here. I'll put it on the screen in just in a moment. Temporal energy manipulation. That might be the spell that does that. And I think I've just looked at it momentarily there, and it looks like you got your fresh pizza, sir.
Awesome. There you go.
Oops, didn't audio, but whatever.
Oh, oh no! This is Thanos, where he rewound Vision to bring him back to life so he could steal the stone from his head.
Okay.
Where Vision blew up, he took the pieces, rewound the time of the pieces to when it was whole, and then Bob's your uncle.
Okay. Well, in this one, this can be used as an attack or as a way of reversing TE changes. Now, would you consider moldy pizza to be TE change? I wouldn't. TE change isn't just the passage of time; it's being out of time and
yeah. It's being forced into a different time.
Right.
Yeah.
So for every round of contact, the caster can manipulate 5 Bio-E worth of temporal energy effects on a creature or object, and that wouldn't be that spell isn't going to be it.
No, that's
temporal freeze creates a temporal bubble. The time seems normal while everything outside stands still.
No, that wouldn't do it either.
Spellcasting anyone inside the bubble can move and act normally while outside. I mean, you could keep your pizza fresh that way, I guess.
As long as it was away from you, you couldn't eat it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not seeing that.
No, that doesn't look like we have that.
Nope, your pizza is but your pizza's moldy.
Sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you have to go back in time. You yourself go back in time to when the pizza wasn't moldy, but then you'd be creating a paradox. I don't know how this game does that with paradox.
It doesn't even talk about paradox.
Doesn't even talk about okay, yeah, because if you went back in time because the pizza was moldy, but you ate your pizza in the past, there would be no pizza in the future to be moldy, so you would never go back in time. But this game doesn't care because guess what? Palladium is infinite multiverses, infinite time streams. You just jumped into another one where the paradox didn't happen. Yay.
All right. Now, the one last thing I will say is if you're used to spells from other Palladium Fantasy or other Palladium books, or maybe even some Heroes Unlimited powers or something that you think would work over here, I don't know what the conversions for that would be, but if it fits your campaign and there's a spell you like from Palladium Fantasy, I don't see why you couldn't necessarily bring it over. Just get approval from your game master, and game masters just make sure that do some comparison. That armor
the game master is going to have to do some adjustments to it. Like he's going to have to add the 2 or 3 superscript to it, depending on how powerful it is. And it's going to be a judgment call on his part to do that, and if it does fit in the campaign, blah, 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 stuff like that. So yeah, you're going to have to run all that by your game master.
Okay. All right. So with that, there's a couple comments I want to get after the video here. So let's put that up there. So I hope you like this breakdown. Again, if you're still a little confused about Time Lord magic, go ahead and watch the video of the how to create a Time Lord character. It was really accidental that it became a Time Lord, but hey, you know what? In the end, it was a Time Lord. You can see how I selected the spells and so forth for that character. It'll dive more specifically into the character creation side of it. Other than that, I don't know what I'm going to cover next week. I've got a few options, but until I figure that out, please like, subscribe, and share, and I look forward to talking to you all next time.